Question 6 here. We're just finding the general solution to this one. X double prime plus 6x prime plus 9x is equal to t squared e to the negative 3t. You may already see this looking at this, and we've done a fair amount of practice with these, but this one has both repeated and duplicated roots. So this right here would give me r squared plus 6r plus 9 equals 0. This is for the xc. Which gives me r, it factors down to r plus 3 squared, which gives me r equals negative 3, comma, negative 3. So that gives me x equals c1 e to the negative 3t plus c2. I'm going to have an e to the negative 3t, but in order to make this thing linearly independent from the other solution, I got to put a t there. Otherwise, I only have one c, essentially. All right, so that's my xc. Now to find my xp, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through it like a two-step process to find the xc. All right, so what I need to do is look at that thing and look at all of its derivatives. So if you think about deriving that, I'm going to use product rule. I'm going to get 2t e to the negative 3t minus 3t squared e to the negative 3t. You should be able to do that product rule. But if you can imagine just deriving this, the product rule is going to get really messy, but I will always have an e to the negative 3t. Some of them have t squared, some of them have t, and some of them have no t. So when I choose my xp, I'm going to go a times t squared e to the negative 3t plus b times t e to the negative 3t plus c times e to the negative 3t. So this is what I want to take based on just this input or external force that's being applied to this system. But we have a problem here. And again, the reason why this is the one that I want to take is because I got to take all the derivatives of this thing till either it repeats or goes away. So that's where I get these. Now, look, we have a problem. This matches this, and I'll just go like this. This matches that one. So what that means is that I need to start after the one that is not mixed between the xc and the desired xp. So this is called a duplicated root. When I have the same thing show up here as what shows up from the xc equation. So in order to deal with that, I need to start, you can think about this is a no t, this is a t. Whatever would come next over here on the xc is where I start. So I'm going to take the lowest one. I got c. Where do I got to start? I got to start at t squared e to the negative 3t plus b is going to have to get bumped up to t cubed e to the negative 3t. And my a term is going to have to be t to the fourth e to the negative 3t. So while I want to take that more, quote, simple xp right here, this is what I have to take because of linear independence issues. I cannot have any pieces from my xp match what is in the xc. And how do we make them not match? We bump them up so that they start after that ending point of the xc. You can also think about it as we multiply all these by a t squared in order to get this equation down here. All right, so next thing I need to do is plug this xp, my guess, into this equation right here. So you can see I need the derivative and the second derivative, right? I need x, x prime, and x double prime. So that takes some product rule work, and we'll go ahead and do it. So that's equals xp prime equals. All right, I got some product rule right there. I get 4a. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this product rule in the reverse of the way you would normally do it. Instead of doing the derivative first times second, I'm going to do the second times the first, because that's going to leave my t to the fourth as my leading term. and I'd like to keep it up there. So that gives me negative 3a t to the fourth times e to the negative 3t plus 4a t cubed e to the negative 3t. I'll do the same thing with this one right here. So when I do my product rule right there, I get minus 3 t cubed 3b t cubed e to the negative 3t plus, all right, now I get a 3 from this power rule, 3b t squared e to the negative 3t. That's the product rule on this one. And now I need to do this one right here. So I get plus, all right, and actually I'm going to get minus from that chain rule. So minus 3, that's the chain rule on this piece, c t squared e to the negative 3t plus 2 c, capital C, t e to the negative 3t. I'm going to regroup things here. What I mean by that is I'm going to take, I got my negative 3a t to the fourth e to the negative 3t. That's the only t to the fourth one. And then I'm going to get plus, boom, boom, t cubed e to the negative 3t. Now, notice I got this and this. So I get 4a minus 3b. I prefer to do it this way. It feels more organized to me. You don't necessarily have to do it the way that I'm doing it here. You could derive all of these terms individually, but I would prefer to keep all my things grouped well and have to do less product rule to do my xp double prime. All right, so plus bump, bump times a t squared e to the negative 3t. All right, I got a 3b minus a 3c. And then my last term is my t e to the negative 3t. So I get a 2c t e to the negative 3t. All right. This is xp prime. This is the line that I'm going to use as I'm trying to figure out my values of a, b, and c. And I'm going to use that top line. But now I got to find xp double prime. Pause. All right. So, xp double prime. I'll do the first two, and then I'm going to just write it out to save some time for us here. All right, so again, I'm going to keep that t to the fourth one as the leading one to keep it first. I'm going to get a negative 3 times a negative 3, so I get a positive 9a t to the fourth e to the negative 3t. For this one, all right, I'm going to get a negative 3 times this mess right here. So that's going to give me plus, all right, negative 12a plus 9b. That's this chain rule times this coefficient, close, t cubed e to the negative 3t. That's the second half of product rule. Plus, all right, now what I'm going to get is a 3 times this from the power rule left half of product rule. So I'm going to get a 12a minus 9b. All right, so that's my t cubed term. Now, what I'm going to do, or sorry, that's on my t squared term because the power rule is going to bump me down to a t squared. So what I'm going to do now is, look, I got a 3b and a minus 3c. And when I do product rule on this thing, this right here is going to get multiplied on that and leave me with a t squared. And this is a t squared term. So I'm just going to write these coefficients multiplied by the negative 3 in right here. So that gives me another minus 9b. And then a plus of 9c, close, t squared, e to the negative 3t. And that's going to simplify nicely for me. Now, if you're like, whoa, I do not like that, right? That's okay. You can use alternative methods to do this. So I'm going to do the rest of this. I'm going to pause it and do the rest of it. And then I'm going to collect like terms, and we'll talk about what we do next. All right, so this, you might see my error. I like to try to keep my stuff organized here, I never did the left half of product rule here. That's going to give me a negative 12a t cubed e to the negative 3t. And that piece needs to be inserted in part of that right there. Maybe that's a failure of my system here, but I also caught it as I was looking at it and collecting my like terms here, right? Again, you can do all these derivatives however you want. Just make sure it's nice and organized and that it works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and write all of my collected like terms on this next line. All right, so what I have is 9a, that comes from this, minus 24a plus 9b, that's this term and this term, along with that. Here, 12a, this gives me negative 9 is the 18 right there. This right here, 6b, is this 6b and minus the 12c. And then this 2c right here is that right there. So, from here, I need to look at the original equation that we were working with, which is, there it is right there. I got a 1 on the x prime, a 6 on the x double prime, and a 9 on the x. So, this line is going to get multiplied by 1. This line is going to get multiplied by 6. And this line is going to get multiplied by 9. So, I'm going to do all of my lines individually, my t to the fourth line. And maybe I will flip over to... All right, so I've got 9 times this, so that's 9a. I'm going to drop the function part of this, the t to the fourth e to the negative 4t. So the t to the fourth line's there. All right, and then here I get 6 times negative 3. That is minus 18a. And then I get this term, plus 9a equals 0. You can see that just the left side is 0. So this gives me 0 equals 0. That should happen with these problems. If that doesn't happen, then something went wrong. All right, so my t cubed term. That one gives me, all right, this is going to get multiplied by 9, so that gives me 9b. This one right here is going to get multiplied by 6, so that gives me plus 24a minus 9b, or sorry, not minus 18b. Let's get it multiplied by 6. And then my t cubed term here. All right, so I get 1 times that. So I get minus 24a plus 9b. And again, plus 9, minus 18, 24, minus 24. All that is equal to 0. Or I set it equal to 0. And that's, again, I should have said that earlier. But why do I set that equal to 0? Because I've only got a t squared term there. I don't have any other terms there. I don't have a t cubed term there. Anyway, that comes out to be 0, which is good because I don't have any of those terms up here. All right, let's do the t squared term. T squared. All right, so I'm going to take 9 times the 9c. That's this one. And then I'm going to take plus 6 times 3 is 18b. And then minus 18c, that's this. And then down here, I'm going to get 1 times this, right? Whoops. Control Z. Times this. So I get plus 12a minus 18b plus 9c. Again, 9 minus 18, those cancel. 18 minus 18, those cancel. This just simplifies down to 12a. And again, come up here. I set that equal to 1 because that's the coefficient there. That gives me a equals 1/12. I'm going to do the same thing with the next 2 lines, and I'm going to get that b and c are both 0, which, pause if you want to take a look at that work, gives me this is my xp, which gives my x of t is xc, plus my xp. So this plus 1/12 t to the fourth e to the negative 3t.